Hello everyone, it's me, Marcus Hall again with another MN Style Guide, and today is a first for me, but I'm very fortunate to have a father and son duo with me today. I'm going to let them introduce yourself, but the TKs are in the house. And so to properly do it, I'll go with the father first. Tell us a little bit about yourself, brother. What does TK mean?
You know, so officially, it's Todd Kelly, but at the end of the day, Mark, I'm really Todd Kelly Jr.'s dad.
All right.
Originally from Hampton, Virginia.
Right on, brother.
Came here in '89 as a freshman, and played ball, and met my wife, and ended up going to the next level, playing ball, going into a professional career.
Right on.
Been married now, 32 years. And
wow.
My daughter, she's 31, Clark, and then my young king over there, TK, 29.
I know.
And so, man, then he got me some grandbabies. I'm a pop. So 10 and Makai and Mackenzie, I can't forget Grams and all our family members and friends. So,
amen.
Amen.
Right on. Well, thank you for being here today, man.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to pass it over to TK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me. Tell me about yourself, brother.
Yeah, 2.0, man. Blessed by two great parents to be here in Knoxville.
Right on.
To be a husband and a father, wealth management advisor, UT alum. Never really pictured any of these things, but one thing that I did have is a great role model to learn from. And great role models.
Who are you talking about?
I learned at a young age, man.
Amen.
Role models show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Yeah,
and what it means to be a true man. And so, just so blessed to be here, sitting with you. So excited to know what you're doing with your business and how fast and diligent you're growing here in Knoxville. And just excited for this opportunity to sit down with you two.
Well, thank you, man. We appreciate that. Now building off of that, you mentioned a role model, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this, but it's very interesting that I had no idea that you were fostered.
Yes.
Is that right? Right. So tell me about that, man. I'm sure a lot of people were like, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, man. It's an interesting story. So technically, my name is Christopher Robinson.
Okay.
Like Winnie the Pooh. Right. And so I was adopted.
Okay.
My mom decided to give me up for adoption. From what I know, I haven't met my real parents. I need to do that. But she was an athlete, but gave me up at a young age. Then I was adopted. After going through foster care for a couple years, I was adopted at 2. That's with John and Nancy Kelly. They adopted me at 2 years old, and man, they really gave me an opportunity at life. I didn't see it then, Mark. There's a lot that my dad didn't teach me that he could have taught me.
Right on.
More from a husband perspective and stuff like that. More that what a pops can be like in relationships like that. But he knew what he knew, and he gave me some really good things, especially kind of style, different things like that. But
that's what's up, man.
Coming from foster care, and then being raised by 2 parents that adopted me and gave me an opportunity, they both passed away in 2021.
Wow. So that was fairly recent.
Yes, back to back, literally.
Okay.
I think COVID had a lot to do with it, but make a long story short, man, this right here today, when you think about it, it's the example of just perseverance. Because adoption, I could have been an abortion. Could have never be here.
Right on.
I wouldn't be interviewing with you today.
Yeah, that's real, man.
So.
That's real. So foster parents was your role model. They were your wow. They took care of you and showed you the way to be a real man, and then obviously you turned that over to your son. Is that what I'm understanding? Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Right on.
So once I went through foster care, foster care parents, they took care of me, and then that's when I was adopted.
Okay.
By the Kellys, and I was 2 years old.
Okay.
So I was in foster care for 2 years.
Okay.
And then literally that's when my parents adopted me when I was 2 years old. And now, my parents were married for 60 years.
Oh, wow.
60 years.
Wow. So that's where where you're being married is, right? So you learned and you saw what that looks like.
Absolutely.
Because that's tough But I've never been married, but I look at these cats like you've been married 32 years, and in this day and age, man, that's rare. You know what I mean? You don't see young adults or anyway people staying married, period. And so that is strong, man, and that's what's up, brother. That's what's up.
Yes.
All right, now here we go. Now, how long? Tell me a little bit about where you are in life and your parenthood style, because you have two beautiful kids and they're fairly young. So talk to me, brother.
Man, I am blessed with two great children, mainly because of their mother, my wife. We were married in June 24th of 2023, so going on a little over a year and a half. And so whenever I hear the numbers 32 and 60, I'm like, that's a long time. That's longer than I've been alive,
that's
right?
longer than you've been alive.
But really taking it day by day and just hearing my pop speak about, when he was 2, being adopted because my son is 2, and to think about just the relationship we already have that we've already created, and to think that it took up to that point for my father to even find a home where he could live in and stay and feel like he was welcome. So having a boy and a girl, I think, is huge because I was raised in the same family. I have an older sister, so it's the reciprocal where my son's the oldest and my daughter's younger because I was the young pup growing up, and blessed to have an amazing sister who is independent for sure. What she says she's going to do, she's so hardworking, diligent in everything she does, and really set that example of what it means to be a Kelly because, I have my parents, but then my sister to show me the way. And so just to be 2 grown people now, my sister running the show down in Atlanta, working for Microsoft, and me being here working for Merrill Lynch and providing for my family. I look at my kids and really I want my ceiling to be their floor. And I want to set the tone by setting the example, being there, not just talking the talk, but also walking the walk. And it's harder than it looks.
Oh, I know, right? Man. I have 2 girls, so I know it is. It's just just being there for them, and then the outside life, because y'all both been athletes, and so I know, me and your dad are a little older now, but there's still that temptation out there to to do whatever that is. And so staying home, man, and kind of being the staple or the foundation for your family, it says it means a lot, man, because the kids, they didn't ask to be here.
That's right.
That's right. So I feel you, man. I do. I totally understand that. That's awesome. And this is actually, I didn't know this was going here. When I asked you guys to come here, I was more interested in the story of the football tradition and what that looked like. But I never thought about the fatherhood and being we're 3 black men right here today too, so that's absolutely. I think this is by far the first and so being there for your family and what that looks like as a black family and a black man. So I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to touch on. So tell us about your football and how you got started in football, man. I want to, because I know your UT days and your pro days, but when did you start playing football?
So I started playing Little League football. Grew up in Hampton, Virginia, the same area. Michael Vick,
right on.
Allen Iverson, that area. We grew up on a bunch of seafood, scallops, crab cakes. That's why I'm a pescatarian now.
Okay, all right.
But I had an opportunity when I was young. I played football. I played baseball. I wasn't no basketball player, but I could shoot, but I ain't that good though. I'm all right. I used to wrestle, and then I ran track.
Okay.
And so for me, baseball was my game. All right. I thought I was gonna play baseball. My dad all the time when I would come home, he would say, son, you should have played baseball. If you played baseball, you probably would have played a little bit longer than football.
That's
but
true.
that right there, man, it happened at a young age. I was 2 years old, just like my grandson, and I was able to hit. They would throw me like little rocks with a wiffle bat, and I would just be able to hit that rock all the way across the street, and then they would throw me a wiffle ball, and I'm hitting wiffle balls across the street, and I'm thinking I'm gonna play baseball.
I heard that.
And then all of a sudden, I end up getting introduced to football, and then I end up playing football, and then I end up wrestling. Only thing about wrestling, I ain't like that too much, man. Get you in all the holes, man. I was pretty good wrestler, man. We taught you how to be tough though, but I tell you, wrestling is a tough sport. That's probably one of the toughest sports that I probably
I believe you.
competed in because it's one-on-one.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you going against some really good cats and put you in some holes and some moves, man. Hope you don't tap out or get pinned.
I didn't know that.
Other than that, like I said, and then as I got into high school, that's when I really started getting good in football and baseball and track and lettered in all sports. Was all state in all sports.
Oh, wow.
Had the opportunity to get drafted, out of high school for baseball by the Detroit Tigers in the 12th round. My mom is an educator, so she said, hey, I said, what should I do? Should I go pro and, get a little money? But she didn't want making no money back then.
Right, that's real.
So she said, I really want you to get your education. And so I got my education. And so I ended up, when I went to UT, I played both sports my freshman year.
Did you play baseball?
Yep, I played
had no idea.
And baseball.
Wow.
It was amazing. And then, my sophomore year, Johnny Majors brought me in his office. He said, hey, listen here, man. He said, Chuck Smith and Chris Mims, they big dog. All the fans know. People know on this show, Chris Mims and Chuck Smith. Good defensive ends. He said, Johnny Majors said, I'm going to let you know something. I got some junior college guys coming here. If you want to continue to play baseball, you might not see the field next year. Whoa. I was like, oh. I said, wait a minute. I said, baseball, 100,000. Baseball, no, I ain't 100,000.
Right on.
I'll be there in the spring.
Okay.
And so I was done playing baseball.
Wow.
And then after that, I ended up, playing football. I ended up being, having a good career there. All-American.
Now, did you win the national championship when you were here?
No, we didn't. I didn't have a chance to win national championship here. But we won the SEC.
There you go. Right on.
89,
Hey, man.
90.
Right on.
And then
who was quarterbacking when you?
So Stir the Pearl.
Sterl. There you go. Oh God, that's
freshman year, man. I told somebody, I said, man, you know what, man, Stir the Pearl undefeated.
I heard that.
He never lost.
He never lost a game. All right.
And so and just had that opportunity to have a really good career. And then, I was actually a backup my first 3 years.
Okay.
And I really didn't start till my senior year, but I played a lot.
Right
so, end up, getting a lot of sacks and getting drafted, going first round, and, marrying my bride. Like I said, we met my freshman year. She was there.
Right on.
And she was a senior, and then literally we just hooked up. And next thing you know, I got married and got drafted first round, 49ers.
Yep.
Had a chance to, play in the NFL and went to the Super Bowl. And, that part of my life, a little bit different, Mark. Honestly,
Right on.
people think the NFL is this glorious life, but that was a life, kind of the part of my life where it really changed for me. My perspective of, who am I as a man and who am I as a person and a husband and all those things. But the sports, man, it actually created me to who I am now. That's why I'm so effective in my career in surgical device sales right now for Boston Scientific. And it just taught me everything about life. It taught me about, not giving up. It taught me to be tough and all those good things. And so, I mean, my sports career was pretty high level, but at the same time, I'm very humble. Because I hardly ever talk about sports. Me and you being around.
You're right. We don't ever talk about sports. That's real. That's
absolutely.
real. There you go. Right on, man. All right. Now, here we go. Now, your dad graduated the University of Tennessee, became a professional ball player.
Right.
And so you watched him grow. I played football, right? You had the opportunity.
On a VHS tape.
Right on.
He don't have no YouTube highlights, but I'm doing it. Yes, sir.
So now, when did you pick up football, TK?
7 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so similar to my father, he took me to Hampton, Virginia, see his parents, and first thing his pops wanted to know, is he 2.0?
Okay.
Would throw me a ball, I'd drop it, try to hit a ball, couldn't hit it, because I had vision problems. So I had astigmatism, and my parents got me glasses. As soon as I got those glasses, that baseball was being sent.
I did not know that either.
Those balls were being caught, and when I was probably 8 or 9, I started when I was 7, but when my dad, he's a lefty, he's a southpaw, he'd be throwing me bullets, and I'd be catching them left and right, gloves or no gloves, right? And at 7 years old, my first football game, my dad coached me, and talk about somebody that figured out how to be tough and how to persevere. He had that personality when I was 7 years old too, and wanted to see me be successful as well. And the first time I touched the ball, I took it for 80 yards down the sideline at Farragut High School in our bowl game, and got a flag for celebrating. But I had my little glasses on, and
I didn't know that.
Little wee 7-year-old, and whether it was football, baseball, basketball, also ran track. Anything that I did, I wanted to excel to the best of my ability. And my mother, who has been in education for over 20 years, you want to talk about having to be the epitome of a student athlete. I really put myself in that light, and most of it was self-induced.
Really?
You know, having a mother that becomes chief of staff of Knox County Schools, principal at multiple schools, a father that's first-round draft pick, Super Bowl winner, and you have his name. You know, I was like, dang, like, you have a lot to accomplish. And thankfully, by the grace of God, you know, I got Mr. Football multiple times, won Gatorade State Player of the Year for the state of Tennessee, but I always felt like I had to do more. And, you know, about 3 or 4 years ago, I went back to my parents' house and just saw the trophies and the All-American awards. And for me, you know, I didn't realize I didn't take it as gratitude in the moment, because I was always trying to be my dad and my mom and hit that next level, when really, you know, that I have children, I just want them to be happy. And that's what my mom and dad wanted for me. They want me to be happy, and for them to see me put a smile on my face after all I've been through, after all I've experienced. It's been such a blessing. And I look back, and whether it was my time at Webb as a student athlete, or on the yard when I started as a freshman and got freshman All-SEC, you know, I didn't have the professional football career my dad did, and the Lord had another plan for me, and that plan is what I'm living now. And we all make plans.
Well, slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. So when did you decide that you were going to university, or know you were going to the University of Tennessee?
Man, to be honest, I almost committed to the University of Alabama.
Okay. So you had an option of other school offers.
I had over 50 scholarship offers.
Oh, wow.
From a lot of different universities here. And my sister was a cheerleader, and she cheered at Alabama. So we got free tickets through my recruiter. So you got to support Big Sis too. But, you know, I was there at the games as much as I was in Neyland Stadium. And, you know, finally, and they won a national championship. They won a lot more games back then than Tennessee did.
Yep.
And at one point, I told my parents, you know, I think I'm going to Alabama. And
Did they fall out?
They wanted to be behind closed doors. You know, they were really like, "We support you, man."
Okay.
And you know, I prayed about it and just had an uneasy feeling, and said, you know what, you need to wait just for a little longer. And then coaching change, transition. You know, really felt like I could be a part of the program, and you know, I changed my mind. Told my parents, hey, you know, I'm staying home. And once I signed that dotted line, a year later, because I committed my junior year of high school, they both told me, you know, hey man, we are super glad you stayed at the crib. But man, a lot of people say coulda, shoulda, woulda, and two things I learned growing up. You know, one, my mom said Kellys are not quitters, and regardless of our situation, we're gonna make it through. And my pops taught me, you know, coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's not things we say. We do as we do, and we handle business. And so, regardless of my football experience and the injuries, which nobody can help, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same.
Right on, man. Right on. So your experience at the University of Tennessee, you would say, tell me about that in general.
Man.
Because like you said, your dad was here, and that's a tough, you know, good, bad, or ugly, following in someone else's footsteps is a tough road to go, because we all are our own, you know what I mean? Although he's your dad, it's, you know, you just still, people going to be, your dad. And so, I mean, what was your experience like here at the University of Tennessee?
Yeah. One that I'll try to put into words, you know, pressure does two things. Either bursts pipes or makes diamonds.
I heard that.
And I've seen a lot of people where, you know, that shadow, that ghost gets the best of them, and they never make it out. Once I realized that, you know, Todd Kelly Jr. means you're your own man, you get to determine your own path and create your own legacy, I realized I didn't have to be him.
Right on.
You know,
Sure.
my mom's 5'2", so I ain't no 6'4", 260 goon anyways, right? So I had to come downhill from the safety spot. Right. But man, I realized that, and once I realized that, you know, I'm me and I have my own identity, really the chains broke off, and I was just able to be myself and experience the good of being on the Hill and college campus, and forging those relationships, man. But it's an experience that, similar to my pop said, man, it's made me into the man I am today, and wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't trade it.
Right on. I remember as a kid, I used to love football. Just pick up and play for the Baby Road Runners for a little while. And like you, I can't dribble a basketball. If you know what I mean. I ran track, but never really an athlete. I have an older brother who was everything. But I look back on it now, and I see the punishment that football players take, man, from a physical stance and from a, getting their heads hit all the time. A lot of guys, never, that changes them, literally changes what, their thought process and mental and all that good stuff. So I'm glad I didn't become a professional football. I can say that, but really it would have been cool to be a professional football player. Yeah. But I don't know what I missed. But now your legacy is different now, obviously, and so I want to talk about that because you're heavy in the community, which I appreciate, man. And now you're talking about working with the young football players over at the University of Tennessee now, and wealth management, how to manage their money.
Right.
And so, man, I'm very proud of you, man. I really am, just to let you know that. And I love what you're doing in the community. And you've got your TK camp, right? You do a camp, football camp.
TKJ
and so that's awesome, man. So just to let you know, brother,
Thank you,
I think you've done really well, all right?
I appreciate that.
You got
it means
it, man.
a lot coming from you.
Right on, man, right on.
Yeah.
So, and I'm being sincere. I think a lot of both of y'all, me and your dad used to hate on each other a little bit. I talk about that from a distance. Who's that good-looking brother? And we ain't beatbox competition. We're gonna have a competition. I'm gonna show. I'm practicing. I've been out of practice for a little while. I'm getting it together. But
that's interesting.
But we were able to come together and be around some mutual friends, and then the 100 Black Men, he works with them, and seeing him and working with, and man, and the same with you, man, working in the community, and it's very interesting. And again, this podcast is taking on a different light because I've sat with one black man, but never father and son in a successful, both of you guys I feel are successful and doing really well. And then talking about how we treat one another, you know what I mean? And so then we're talking about the 100 Black Men and how hard it is. And we live in Knoxville, so the minority level is very small here, you know what I mean? I think it may be 9% or something, maybe even smaller than that. But why, as black men, we don't love on each other more and support each other, man? And so a conscious effort of that, because we did, man. We'd see each other, but we wouldn't really talk. Right. And so I'm so glad that we got the opportunity, man, to get together and love on each other, man. Because your dad's a great dude, man, and funny and charismatic and all that good stuff, man. So and we've worked together on the runway. In fact, I'm gonna bring you in.
I ain't got my bananas on the night. I got them though. I mean, look at
so that's it, man. It's important that we support one another and tell each other we love each other and talk and chop it up and try to help each other if we can, right? That's real, man. That is real. So now the reason I'm here, I'm gonna start with you this time, is style, right? Let's talk about it, man. So what do you consider your style? Because you're financial advisor, so you kind of keep it kind of square and not get too flashing out there. But what are you comfortable in? What's your game, brother?
I mean, I'll be biting my pops. Ever since I was a youngin', and at Webb, we had to wear school uniforms.
Okay, yeah.
So I never really truly got to figure out what my style was, and I wore a size 13 shoe when I was 13 years old, and then my shoe stopped growing, and I stopped growing. So I thought I was gonna be 6'4" like pops, but we still wear the same shoe size. So I go in his closet and try to act like he doesn't know I'm wearing his shoes, and I get a scuff on it or something. But nah, man, just trying to learn from him and get my game up. And I mean, whether it was 3-piece suits back in the day with the Windsor knot, or just keeping it style and classy. And that's why I love coming here. I'm big into Blazers.
I appreciate that.
As I continue to grow my book of business, and
we gonna take care of you,
support my family. It's the first thing people think about you is how you look.
Your
right
look,
from
man.
afar.
That's real, man. That's exactly
And some people won't even talk to you, right, if you're not dressed
if you're not
accordingly.
dressed the part. That's exactly
and so,
right.
whether it's learning from my pops or trying to create my own identity in that fashion too. I'm 29 years old, so I'll be interested to see what my wardrobe looks 10 years from
As
now.
it transitions, right? Well, look at your dad. Man, I'm gonna pass the mic now. Their dad dresses, man. That's so, look like he's blushing. Uncle talking. But tell me, now, where'd you get your style from?
Man, what's interesting is, my pops, he gave me the style of combinations, colors.
Right on.
My pops was big on colors and, putting those things together, like you never think a blue go with a brown or, like a khaki will go with a gray, different things like that. And, but then ultimately, for me, I always was like Timberlands. I'm from the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm from Hampton, Virginia. So I was Timberland sweatpants, white beaters, part down the middle, parts of my eyebrows. I wasn't really into like a lot of dress, but I also, nice shoes, sneakers, and then my wifey. I met wifey.
All right.
And, a couple times we went out on a couple dates and, I ain't come in looking dapper. So the first time, we had an event that I had to go to when she was working with Procter & Gamble. I was still in school, and then I had to go to the event. And so the very first time, I never owned a tie.
Okay.
And so I just know that my pops always showed me how to, look fly, good colors.
Coordinate.
And stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
But as far as the business look, the sophisticated, that European tailored look, man, my wife, literally, the first blazer I got, the first dress shoes, kind of like professional, the tie and everything. She put me together a combination at an event that she had. And I showed up, man, and I looked in the mirror, I was like, okay, I'm thinking this. This is kind of nice.
Right on, man.
And man, ever since then, I just kind of took off, and then, literally, I always like watching, young men like, it's a deacon, Gary Napier.
Okay.
He was a deacon at Mount Calvary.
Okay.
And so, man, he was always dapper, and I always like watching men that look good. And, for me, I always think about, first impression, it lasts forever.
Yeah.
And so, my wife is big on mixed patterns and, the double pocket, double vent, blazers and, having my son said, we got the Windsor knot that you get the dimple in it.
Right on.
Just different things that kind of separate yourself. And, but I think more than anything, Mark, when you think about it, it's confidence booster too.
Yeah, man. I believe that. When you look good, you feel good, man. That's real. That's right.
Look good, feel good, play good, and guess what? Dion said they pay good.
I heard that.
Right? And so,
yes.
But if it goes further than that, like think about it, attractiveness, right?
Yep.
People, how does it make you feel when someone says, "Man, you stay tight,
right
Mark.
on.
You be clean."
Right on.
Every time I see you, do you ever dress down even in sweatpants? But it's like that,
That's
right?
real. That's real,
it's
man.
attractiveness.
Yeah, there you go.
But that reputation, it carries you for the rest of your life. And so I always told my son, I said, man, whenever you get in front of individuals, your first impression is going to last.
Amen.
And so, stay dapper. Be the best dressed. If you going in the room, if they say you supposed to wear jeans, you wear jeans, but wear a blazer with it.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah,
and so
that's it.
nobody wear ties no more. Like they
that's
used to
real.
no more.
The ties ain't. That's real.
Everybody open
man,
collar
I'm telling
now,
you, that's it. But still, you putting it together, right on,
man. But that's with my wifey, man.
Right on. I will have to tell her that the next time I see her.
Please.
Thank you for putting him on the right track, man. Because then you led to your son, and he'll do the same, I'm sure, for his son, man. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want to ask any advice you can give not just young brothers, but just young men in general, my friend.
Man, I think I'm still learning that. For me, I've had so many people that have, paved the way for me, right? It's definitely each one reach one. And
I think he's running for politics. You're going to run for mayor one day. You should run for mayor. I'm the first black man. I got to look that up.
That's silly, man. But really, have you ever seen a turtle on a fence post, right?
Right.
If you see one, it didn't get up there by itself.
By itself, okay.
And the same thing in life. make sure that if you don't have that support system, to really reach out and ask for a mentor, right? And once you become that mentee, what's success for me? It's not dollar signs, it's not a status, it's not a title for me. I want to do the things that people are doing for me in life, right? Sitting me down and telling me what it means to be a man, what it means to be a husband, a father, a brother and a son, right, the right way. And so, I think young men really need to focus about, hey, there's opportunities out here to make a difference. It's not about us, right? You can't take a U-Haul to heaven. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, your legacy and your name, that's all you have left. And so leaving a legacy and impacting people behind you and inspiring them to be the best they can be.
I know. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yeah. Big TK.
I'm big on relationships, Mark. You know that. When you think about it, I think about, my message is it's to young men and seasoned men like ourselves. I'm not gonna say the word old because guess what, man?
Not old
young
yet,
men.
man. That's right.
We young men.
Yep.
But relationships, how men, young boys understand relationships and what that means. So many of us haven't seen good relationships in the homes that we grow up in. Even though, like I said, my dad was in the home, Mark, I saw a lot of dark times. It wasn't perfect. And there's a lot of things that I didn't bring into my marriage and my relationship that I saw. But I think it's critical that you to be excuses saying, you know what? My dad was like that. Right on. Right? Yep. I didn't have a dad in my life. That's an absolute excuse. Because at the end of the day, mentally, you got to be focused as a man. Because mentally, you got to be able to have it together. Because you don't have to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your village. Right. Physically, you got to take care of yourself. You got to stay in shape. I always talk about my son. You look good. Stay in shape. Take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. Go get checked out. Right. But spiritually, where are you spiritually? Like, there's so many young boys that were never taught, like, by a father in their life. Like, what does it feel like to, get your spiritual life together, right? Yeah. And then once all that comes together, then comes the financial piece. It really does, Mark. The financial piece comes, and when you have all that together, you can be a better father, you can be a better brother, you can be a better uncle, you can be a better friend, but more than anything, you can be a better person in this community, right? Yeah. To be able to give back, and that's why I deal with 100 Black men of Knoxville. Okay. That's why I always give back to Foundation 101, that's going on right now that we have at our church at Foster Chapel. But it's really about relationships. Yep. And if you get the man, you got the body, because the man is the head in the house spiritually. Right. But at the end of the day, there's women out there waiting for that next man to be everything I just spoke about, Mark. Mm-hmm. Because if you get the man, you can get the woman. Amen. All day long. I heard that. Yes, sir.
Well, there you go. Yeah. That's a lot of stuff y'all dropped, a lot of knowledge, not a lot of little nuggets you just dropped. So again, man, I'm so grateful to have had you guys spend this time with me and share your stories and again drop some nuggets to us, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you grow, man, in your business and as a man and continued success to you. And you too, man.
Yes,
I appreciate our friendship,
always,
brother.
man.
All right.
Man.
Right on.
Yes, sir.
Again, we will see you next time on another Style Guide, and continued blessings and God bless. Amen. Right on. Thank you.